do is eat and poop and eat and poop and eat and poop. And their poop is called frass. Just like from that, from the gypsy moth, the poop was called frass. But this stuff really forms quickly. Just a few minutes ago, we watched one of the caterpillars turn into a chrysalis. It happens in about 5 minutes. When they go from a caterpillar to a chrysalis, the caterpillar liquefies and reforms as a butterfly inside the chrysalis. Then the chrysalis hangs, yeah, it's kind of crazy, for 2 weeks, and then they're born. So they spin a little silk. The silk's attached to the ceiling. What we do, the crazy monarch ladies, is we pry the silk off, put a little scotch tape on it, and clip it with a clothespin to a wire so you can see the chrysalis a little easier. It's insane. It's kind of nuts. The chrysalis looks like it has gold jewelry on it. We had people today ask us if we paint the chrysalises. No, that's natural, that forms. Right now, this morning, we had 8 butterflies born. When they turn black, you can see their wings through them. Then they're born, they have to drip for a few hours before their wings are fully engorged. Then they don't eat for the first day, and then they really want a lot of flowers. So you'll see the whole thing going on over there afterwards. At the store, we have a cage that holds 112 chrysalises. It's kind of insane. People don't know what they're looking at first. The male has 2 spots. The female doesn't. And you can see that when they open their wings. And so here's a good example of a male and a female on asters. Now the focus of today's talk is what we can do in our gardens here in Connecticut to plant to assist the migrating monarch butterflies and also help all of our late pollinators. A lot of people's gardens are almost finished now. My garden has many, many plants still to come. Butterflies don't get a lot of nectar out of hydrangeas, roses, common grocery store mums. They really have specific plants that they need to nectar up on. So we release the butterflies, we tag them. There's Diane teaching children how to place the tag on the wing. You'll see them tagged. It's a little scary, but you get used to it. On the tag is a number. We go up to monarchwatch.org. We register the number of the released butterfly, the date it was released, where it was released, male or female, whether it was raised or caught in a net. And then when they fly to Mexico, if the tags are found, you go up to Monarch Watch, you put in the serial number. We've had 2 found so far of the hundreds we've tagged. So we know 2 of ours actually flew 3,078 miles to the sanctuary. You have no idea how that makes you feel. Here's Diane, the crazy monarch lady, right there. She's trying to pretend that she's not there, but so there's the tag. So we have them tagged here, we'll show you. So when they're tagged, they really need a lot of nectar. It's like if you're gonna run a race, you carb load. When a monarch's gonna fly 3,000 miles, it has to catch the wind, come down, go to flowers, nectar up, go up, fly some more, and nectar up. It needs a lot of flowers all the way down. So everybody's got to plant flowers for the butterflies. So nectar food is really important, and a lot of our most common nectar foods are summer flowers, butterfly bushes and daisies and black-eyed Susans and rudbeckias, and you really want to think to yourself, what can I plant for late September and all throughout October when butterflies are flying through? So butterfly bushes are really good for the butterflies, but you have to keep your butterfly bushes deadheaded. One of my tricks is I cut my butterfly bush really hard in early August, and then it reblooms again now. Nobody uses a butterfly bush as a nectar food plant. They only use the butterfly as a larval food plant. They only use it for nectar. So I've heard people go, oh, don't plant butterfly bushes, nobody raises their young on them. No, they're a huge source of nectar and very, very important. Echinacea, coneflower, fabulous butterfly nectar flower, the single rather than the double. And also really important for pollinators. A lot of bees really need it for the nectar. Coreopsis keeps blooming into the fall. I have this variety in full bloom in my courtyard right now. Joe Pyeweed we see growing in the marshes, and every single form of eupatorium, really important. I just had a vacation in Stowe, Vermont. The fields were filled with Joe Pyeweed. The monarchs were moving down from Canada at that point. Ironweed is another wonderful plant to provide nectar for the butterflies. Ironweed grows in marshes. I live in Middletown. My land is really heavy clay. I have a lot of ironweed in bloom right now. This picture here was taken in Durham. This is a field. You may know where it is. At one point I just pulled over. Don't drive behind me because I do this all the time. And I just took a picture of this field of ironweed. So when the butterflies are migrating, they're flying and they look for the nectar flowers because they need it in order to make it all the way to Mexico. This is from Monarch Watch. We want to do what we call is a fueling zone. If you go up to Monarch Watch, you can see when they migrate. They start around the beginning of September. The 2 tags that were found in Mexico were from monarchs we released on September 13th. So from the 1st of September to the end of September is peak migration from Connecticut, but we will be raising, and the monarchs will be released and tagged right into October. And if it stays this warm, they're not going to have a problem. If it gets really cold, some of the last monarchs to be released may not make it, but we're still going to raise them and give them a shot. So this is a real geeky thing. I've also spoken to a lot of people today who have been at the beach, in Squamicut, in Groton Long Point, in New Jersey, and seeing the monarchs migrating. You can actually see clouds and clouds of them. So people go out and they count them, and then they put it up how many they counted. So you can get to an extreme point with this, but if you're sitting there and you don't know what it is you're watching, and all of a sudden 50 monarchs float by, it gets your attention. So you can see how somebody would volunteer to do this. It's kind of cool. Here's a miniature form of ironweed. If you don't have room for a tall one, I have this in my garden. It's a really cool plant. It's called iron butterfly, which I like. It's from my generation. This is my garden. There's perennial sunflowers. There's a burnet, and this is taken this week. This is all stuff that's blooming now. So that's the miniature form of ironweed. You can also see that blue flower is perennial ageratum, which is a eupatorium. So this is like a magnet for butterflies. There's late blooming black-eyed Susans. This is a very late phlox I discovered, and it's called Tracy's Treasure. And it's in full bloom in my garden now, and all my other phloxes are done. Red lemon queen sunflowers. Goldenrod is critical as a nectar flower for butterflies and also for pollinators. Goldenrod does not cause any allergies. Goldenrod is pollinated by bees. It's ragweed that's wind pollinated. So this gets a bad rap. It's actually one of the very most important and easy to grow plants for migrating monarchs and all pollinators. And there's a lot of different kinds. We actually sell lots of kinds of goldenrod. Again, I never thought anybody would want it, but a lot of people want it. This is a bouquet picked from my garden on September 27th. And I have bouquets like this right up through October and into November. So I'm kind of like this garden geek that likes succession of bloom. So we're looking at asters that are just starting at the end of October. So like Aster Blue Autumn blooms in August, and Aster October Skies doesn't start until the middle of October and goes for a month. And this is an aromatic aster that's not eaten by the deer. This is in my garden. Can you see the bumblebees? These are New England asters. Almapatchki is the bright pink one. This was taken at Natureworks. This is a purple aster with a grass growing through it, an ornamental grass. This is another aster. I took this picture on my vacation. I went to King Arthur Flower in Norwich, Vermont, and somebody had designed a fabulous rain garden. And this is Aster umbellatus, which is also growing in my garden. It's white. It's about this tall, blooms for over a month. with goldenrod. This is meant to capture water, but this is also excellent for the monarchs. At Natureworks, we have aster umbellatus with another mini, very tiny aster that hasn't opened yet, and the seed pods splitting open of the swamp milkweed, the Asclepias incarnata. So this is just a tiny portion of one of our gardens, and it shows you how easy it is to get this going in your own yard. These are eupatoriums, and this picture was taken on September 19th. So we have Eupatorium celestina, which is a really spready perennial. You may go, oh my God, I wouldn't let this in my yard to save my life. Put it under your shrubs and let it rip. This is Bone Set, which is a eupatorium that has white flowers, and this is Joe Highweed. There's about 15 kinds of eupatoriums you could introduce to your yard. Again, you want to match how much room you have, what kind of soil you have. Here's Bone Set at King Arthur Flower. Here's Eupatorium celestina with a monarch on it. This is the site you hope to capture with your camera. This is another really cool late bloomer. This is called Rebeckia, which is a black-eyed Susan, Henry Eilers, with these cute little petals that look like spoons. And this is blooming really strongly right now. It grows about 3 to 4 foot tall. It's a great cut flower. These are daisy mums. The double mums don't do much for any pollinators. The singles have all the energy, all the nectar and pollen. This is a variety called mammoth mums. It's a perennial. You plant it now and you'll have 300 to 400 flowers every year in a couple of years. No protection needed. These were bred in Michigan. This one is specifically good because it starts earlier. It starts in August. These are just starting now and they'll go for at least 4 to 6 weeks. So you can see how large they get. This was taken in our garden this week. This is another plant I grow for the late blooming pollinators and migrating monarchs. This is in my garden. This is Persicaria. This picture was taken on October 15th. This blooms from July until the end of October. Really long blooming. Here's a bouquet made with some of my late blooming flowers in my courtyard in late October. So really rethink your fall garden and see what you can add. This is a tree that's really good for the monarchs. I don't know if you can see it, but I took a picture of it. There was about 15 monarchs in this tree. This is my garage, my wood pile. It's called the Seven Suns tree. I climb upstairs and I sit in the garage window and look out at it so I can really count what I'm seeing. It's really unusual to have a really high pollen count tree in September. So asters are your best friend, and explore the whole category because that's what they're looking for. Over my last 2 weeks of vacation, I went from the Adirondacks to Massachusetts, Vermont, and all along the side of the road, and everywhere I went, there were native asters that nobody planted. Here you can see a tagged monarch on asters. Sedums are also excellent for monarchs and other migrating butterflies and pollinators because they bloom really late. Abelia is a flowering shrub that has a fabulous nectar and is very fragrant. This blooms from July until October. Very pretty shrub. You can also use annuals because we aren't going to have a frost until probably mid to late October around here. So a lot of our annuals will keep on cranking. So if you don't have a lot of room for perennials or you haven't learned how to plant perennials in succession yet, you can start with annuals. Zinnias are number one. They love zinnias. There's always monarchs on the zinnias. So, and they're easy to grow from seed, very inexpensive. Verbena bonariensis is called verbena on a stick. This is an annual that self-sows. So once you have it, you'll have it again. They love this too. These are the top 2 annuals that we include in every butterfly garden. They love verbena and pentas. If you've ever been to any of the butterfly places, pavilions and centers where they're raising butterflies indoors, you'll always see these 2 plants. And this is lantana. Today when we release butterflies outside, a lot of the children were able to hold them in their hands and then get them on their fingers, and we asked them to place them on the lantana. And they just stayed there and nectared because they're very hungry. So this is a good easy plant. Deer don't eat it, takes outside, makes it really dry. You know, so you just have to plant what makes the most sense for you. This is Mexican sunflower, another super easy plant to grow from seed. This grows as tall as me, has either orange or yellow flowers, all from late summer until the fall. Kind of looks like a giant zinnia. Of course, there's a monarch in that one. This is a globe amaranth called Go Free the Fireworks, which is a good dried flower. We had a patch of this at Natureworks last year. We had just released a ton of butterflies. There was like 15 butterflies on this plant. And a woman walked up and one of them moved and she went, "Oh!" And she said, "I thought they were fake." I'm like, "No, they're real." She goes, "Like, they just didn't look real to me." I said, "No, they like this plant." You know, this is a great one for the flower garden. So sometimes we get a little carried away. We have them on our bodies, we have them in our hands, we have them in our hats. When I got home from vacation and I went to work on Tuesday, 40 monarchs were born that day. It was ridiculous. So I carried the cage outside and it was raining and windy, and we had to bring it back in and give them all these flowers until the rain stopped, because we wanted to give them at least their first day out to be sunny and beautiful like today. So we are actually a safe house for all butterflies and all beneficial insects. We are an organic garden center, and it's really, really important if you're going to try and do this work that you don't use poisons. We have a really good butterfly page on our website. Our website's an educational website. We have hundreds of handouts, and you're free to download them, print them, share them with your school, your garden club. We tell you right on the handout, you can just reproduce this as long as you leave our name on it. For example, this handout's really useful. We also have a handout on literally how to raise monarchs if you want to try it. So it's really worth it to learn how to do it. And then you can raise other butterflies too at our booth. We're raising eastern black swallowtails. So hopefully I've encouraged you to A, stop using chemicals, B, start raising butterflies, or at least pay attention to what you're seeing. Never squish a caterpillar if you don't know what it is, and then start planting for both pollinators and butterflies, especially for the fall season. It's really, really important. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. How many butterflies are there in the whole entire world? Let's guess. Who wants to guess? I would say 50.